Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 8 of the vlog. And today I want to talk about pistol squats. My favorite exercise in calisthenics, such an awesome exercise or family of exercises, a great test of strength, of skill, of focus, of balance, and just overall awesome. And I dedicated the last episode of the podcast to pistol squats. So I wanted to talk about them in the vlog today and just address a couple of key points that I think are important to glean from just pistol squats in general, but also from the podcast. And then hopefully from this video, you'll want to go check out the podcast because I do go into a lot more detail in the podcast episodes. But the first thing is there is a skill aspect to pistol squats. And this is something that didn't really become apparent to me until much later, and honestly not that long ago when I really embraced it. And the reason that came about is a few years ago I was at the PCC in New York, the Progressive Calisthenics Certification, and during the squat segment I had somewhat of a rude awakening. I was very unhappy with my technique, just the way I was performing them, and I learned an absolute ton from the PCC, so it really sent me home kind of disappointed in myself, but pretty excited as well, because it almost forced me to basically work my squat up from the ground again. And I didn't care how long it took or what I had to do. I was just dedicated to improving my pistol squat, and that's what I kind of went back and started with the basic, the foundation, the regular body weight squat, close squats, split squats, and a lot of assisted variations. But one thing that, like I said, has become very apparent recently is the skill aspect. And something that has also really improved my squat. And what I mean by skill aspect is the focus that's required, the proprioception, the balance, the focus. Those things are so important. And what I really take advantage of now, I don't necessarily worry too much about repetitions. It's more about how clean can I make my pistol squat? How can I improve those skill aspects like balance, like focus, and really just improve it overall. And then that in turn also helps with the strength aspect of it. So one thing that I found very valuable in my training, especially over the past couple of years, is to look at those areas and then take a session where I focus on the balance side of it, and then the next time focus on my focus and full body tension and how I'm using it during the pistol squat. And that just added all these new dimensions to my training, whereas before I was very rep focused. I just need to get more reps in, even though the quality of my reps weren't that great. So that's really transformed my squat training over the past while. So I really encourage you to explore those areas, embrace the skill aspect of it, along with the strength component, because that's very important to it as well. And then the second key area I wanted to talk about is establishing that foundation. And that was something that was very important to my training, and that's where that epiphany came and that humbling came, was because I was lacking in those foundational exercises like close squats, like split squats, and I made a ton of use of assisted pistol squat variations, and I still do to this day. They were so important to my training, and still are important to my training, that I can't stress enough how great they are. So I really encourage you to check them out, to use them, to take advantage of them, and I talk more about that in the podcast as well. But the importance of just building that foundation, because the progressions are there for a reason and will help you develop not only the strength aspect, but going back to the skill aspects as well. Each of them involve a skill aspect, and developing the progressions will allow you to take better advantage of the next exercise in that progression. And don't be afraid to regress either. If you need to go back, take a step back and say, all right, I need to improve this. Or you know what, I need to put more focus in my split squat. That way I can really charge into my pistol squats down the line. And that's again where assisted pistols were absolutely huge, because they allowed me to really focus on my technique, break everything down, and improve them all, so then I could take it or translate it to my pistol squats as well. So again, the last episode of the podcast, I dedicated strictly to pistol squats. I encourage you to check that out. I've also done an episode that was a companion to the squat feature that I did, kind of giving you a progression from the standard bodyweight squat all the way to the Wushu pistol squat. So I encourage you to check that out as well. Stay tuned, because at the end of the video I'm going to demonstrate a very slow pistol squat that I'm pretty proud of, but it'll also give you a visual of what I mean. Notice the focus, notice the full body tension. You know, I'm squeezing my arms throughout the entire movement. I'm focusing on one area. I'm taking it very slowly. That way I can maximize all areas throughout the entire movement. Okay, so really pay attention to those things, and feel free to hit me up, Elevate Your Craft on the Facebook page, at EYCKAS, EYCKAS on Twitter, if you have any questions, okay? And again, be sure to check out that podcast that I dedicated to the pistol squats. Okay, guys, that's it for me today, and I'll see you next time.